Let me say this. If you are here listening to my voice right now, that's not a good thing for me. Well, I was not born in Wichita, actually. I was born in Chickasha, Oklahoma. I was the youngest of five kids. My oldest brother, Stephen, um, my middle brother, Randy, have both gone on, and my mom is no longer with us. And I never had a relationship with my dad. And um, it took me 40 years of living to find out who my actual dad was. I kind of looked like him. I got his wavy hair, that's for damn sure. Uh, but nonetheless, uh, I got that story and was born on a Saturday night, only fitting that I love Saturday night, uh, November 4th, 1961, at Grady Memorial Hospital in Chickasha, Oklahoma. Um, and my oldest sister, a lot of people don't know that I have an older sister, niece, and two nephews in New Jersey. And my older sister is still alive, but she had a life of good living and she caught my mom's genes to carry on. Now, I thought I had my mom's good genes to carry on too. They didn't tell me I pulled the short straw. So here I am. My mom's, it's my sister's wedding night. She's getting married. Um, they were partying. They were having a good time. You know, us black folk, when we party, we like to party. And we really don't know the sun's come up till we look outside and go, oh my God, the sun's up, y'all. But my my sister reminds me often about how she had to leave her wedding party to come to the hospital to get uh, Rita, my only sister and still surviving, uh, and my oldest surviving brother, Eric, and babysit them because apparently they still uh, were a bit young. Rita was born in, should I tell him, Rita? Should I tell him? No, I won't. And my oldest brother, Eric, I think 1951. Uh, I know if he's listening right now, he's going to yell it out. That ain't right. But then again, my family's always been animated, loud, expressive, and oftentimes unfiltered. Uh, my wife, Nicole, didn't realize how unfiltered of a husband she did marry until it was too late. And I often heard, Greg. Yeah. So she came, babysat those two knuckleheads, my sister and Eric, and I came out screaming. Uh, and that was my first day of life. So I don't remember much about Chickasha, other than it's a small town 40 miles south of Oklahoma City with a population of 15,000 people. Now it's famous today for their annual Christmas light display, which is such a big deal. Uh, they do a write up about it every year in Oklahoma City. Well, enough of that. So We moved to Wichita. I was 2 years old, and my first memory, that's where I started, uh, was jumping out of the car, seeing this house, which to me seemed massive at the time, and running into the house and seeing this kitchen. I think the house we moved into, it had a old meat grinder uh, uh, attached to the wall, and where you put the meat in and you grind it up, it comes out. What do I know? I've never been good in the kitchen. Anyway, uh, I was a pretty active little boy. I was always playing jokes, and my rest of my siblings. I would not hesitate to rat on them if I knew it was going to get me something I wanted. And they were not hesitant for the big payback whenever Mama went to work on Saturday. And I remember every Saturday we uh, we always had a pot of beans and cornbread. And to this day, I love beans and cornbread. And and we had every kind of bean on the planet: pinto beans, black beans, lima beans, white beans, navy beans. I think there's a few more. But I was one of those kids. I didn't have any food allergies. You put it in front of me, I ate it because I quickly learned from my mom whenever I asked, "Mom, what's for dinner?" And she'd always say, "Food." And I would counter with, "What kind of food?" And she would say, "Doesn't matter what kind of food it is, that's what you're having for dinner." so, so I quit asking. Um, Took me, what, 10 years to latch on to that reality? so I guess I never asked what was for dinner when I was a baby either. Um, and so uh, I grew up into what was uh, a really unique family. My sister, Rita, can sing like a bird. In fact, she loves to sing. And oftentimes uh, will take the mic, not ask, but take the mic and start singing. But the good thing is that she's halfway decent. So everybody stops and starts listening. Um, I've heard my sister Rita sing so much that I was like, oh God, not again. But she knew I was just kidding. Everybody wanted to hear her sing. And then my brother Eric, uh, he grew up very musical. In fact, my whole family was musical. My mother, uh, my sister, my oldest brother was in a number of bands. One I remember the most is LT and the Dynamics. They actually cut a single that had some regional success and got radio airplay in Kansas City, Wichita, Oklahoma City. Uh, and to me, uh, they were a big deal. Eric played the congas. Stephen was on the keyboards. And if she was old enough at the time, Rita would have done the vocals. Um, I was never good at instrumentation, not good at singing. I guess I would have been better if I really tried, but I didn't. And so I made a pact with my brother Randy, who, by the way, was not a great musician and or singer, but he did have a bassy voice. I told him, "You guys make the music, I'll play it." And they was like, "What you talking about, Willis?" and I, I I knew uh, from the age of 12 that's what I really wanted to be. There's no question about it. I wanted to hear my voice come through the radio speaker. So my mom, knowing I had a love for music and the radio, I actually bought me, and I can still see it right now, a Sony AM transistor radio that I go up and down the dial really slow. Because back then all we had was AM, and a lot of AM stations, and even today, it's just that nobody listens to AM anymore, realizes this. They lower their power when the sun goes down because apparently, and the only reason I know this, because I had to get my FCC operator's license when I was starting out. You had to become licensed to be on the radio, and I don't know if that was the white man's version of trying to keep us off the radio. I know I'm not supposed to say that in today's America, but let's just be real. Uh, uh, you got to take a test. Oh, okay, cool. Where do I take the test? You got to go to Kansas City. Hmm. So my mom found a way because turns out I had a relative to get me to Kansas City for my telephone and radio operator's license. And about my fifth or sixth year in radio, they took that rule off. You didn't have to have an operator's license. After I went through all that hard work to get one, and I was not going to be deterred or stopped or limited. Seems like most everything I had in life I had to fight for. Um, then uh, I had a high school buddy. His name is Doug Rutherford, and he uh, he had a love for radio too. Radio is something you gotta love if you do it as a profession, because every person in radio will tell you you're not gonna get rich at it starting out. And they were right. You work your ass off. Oh, forgive me, God. You work your ass off. Dang it, I did again. And you get your operator's license, and then you go pound the street. And then the next thing uh, that was the white man's version of filtering out the brothers, you had to get them an air check tape. What the hell is an air check tape? Well, it's a demo of your voice talking up records. Well, what am I talking up? Well, your intro on the record, showing the weather, and we want to see how creative and strong your voice is. Huh? And so now I had to go find somebody that actually had a studio. And let me tell you, in the early to mid 70s, that was not easy. Uh, and let me get back to Doug, because I tend to bounce all over the place. Uh, he loved radio as much as I did. And we both got together and said, dude, you love radio? He said, yes, I love radio. I said, I love it too. To which Doug said, and I'm so proud of him because it was unfiltered. He said, I never thought I'd meet anybody that would love radio as much as I did. And I never thought, above all things, that it'd be a black guy who lived in Northeast Wichita. Well, guess what? We were everywhere. And I did my radio thing. I said, dude, let's start a radio station. He said, that's a great idea. And had a 10-watt Army transmitter. Did not know we were breaking federal law. And we actually used that transmitter to build a radio station that was actually 10 watts and covered about 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 blocks. We were rolling until the FCC started getting complaints about why they had interference on the radio dial. And we built a radio station from the ground up. There used to be a place on East Douglas called American Radio Supply. Uh, you got to remember, outside of TV and 4 channels in the radio, that's the only form of mass communications in the country. Today, we got radio, satellite radio, apps, Spotify, Apple Music. You even got radio on your TV. Radio has always been free. TV started out free. We had 4 channels: ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS. And that was it. And PBS was always on a crappy signal. And if you wanted to watch TV, that's what you watched until cable came along in the 80s. And, well, TV made a fundamental blunder. They said, those guys, people are used to getting their stuff free. They'll never take us down. Ha! Guess what? They did. And radio would kind of had a cocky attitude too. Americans are used to getting their music free. They're not going to pay for music. Well, guess what? They do. And eventually, just like TV, radio began to struggle. Profits went down. And when the profits go down, they got to cut somewhere. And being 64 years of age and the highest paid guy in the building, it didn't take long to look in that mirror and see the red X on my chest. Oh, Apollo's here. I remember there have been so many forms of mass communication in this country that they said was going to die. 2 or 3 of them, they were right. Unfortunately, we were one of the 2 or 3. Now, look, there's still radio. It's still free. And there are still people that know how, no way are they going to pay for it. But when you buy a car today, you want to know if it has Bluetooth, if it has USB outlets, if it has C ports. You want to know all of that. And then, where's the radio? Oh, okay. If you do listen to the radio, I bet it's for sports. Yeah, that's it. And I hate it. I hate it when radio stations, new music. No radio station in America should ever say, here's another new joint. Because guess what? By the time they play it on the radio, I got news for you. It's old as dirt. Radio is just a reflection of consumer mass demand. Oh, I'm carrying on. Let me get back to why I'm here. It's because I'm dead. So, Imagine the dead guy in the casket talking to you right now. Nonetheless, uh, we built a radio station, blah, blah, blah. And main thing, everybody wanted to be a DJ. Everybody loves being a club DJ. Every club DJ thinks he's the best club DJ. And every club DJ lives in his own universe. And he thinks he has hundreds and thousands and millions of fans. Mm, nah, nah. Maybe 500, 1,000. But for the guys that are really working it on the internet or streaming their stuff, they got more. And all of this has nothing to do with me growing up. I'm just ranting and raving. Anyway, went to high school at East High here in Wichita, graduated in 1979. Some things you'll hear about me that you probably didn't know that I must admit I'm fairly proud of. I went to uh, primarily wherever my mother taught. My mom was a school teacher. I was the youngest of five, like I said earlier. I was the youngest of five, like I said earlier. Uh, I went to Mueller Elementary, where my mother taught first grade and kindergarten. I went to Mueller all the way through third grade until my mother transferred to Isley Elementary School. Then I went to Isley for the 2 years she was there. And then they started busing. Man, that was an adventure. Where I ended up at Adams Elementary School. And that was the one school I went to that my mom did not teach at. I used to think there were a lot of good benefits to having your mom teach where you went to school. Don't get it twisted, because I had to be a role model. I could never be in trouble. And when I did get in trouble, guess where they would take me? To see mama. And I knew that was not good because, well, my mom came from a different generation. Spare the rod, spoil the child. And to her benefit, she didn't spare the rod, I can tell you that. Probably increased their value by 200% just on me alone. What? What am I talking about? I can't see anything. I'm dead. Anyway, I did all of that, and I'll quit reminding you guys that I'm actually dead. Um, and yeah, I spent a lot of time in the boiler room, and I would say, "Mama, please, no, Mama, please." And I said, "Why are you taking me to the boiler room? I can scream." She said, "That's exactly why I'm taking you to the boiler room, because you can scream to the top of your lungs and ain't nobody gonna hear you." So eventually I figured out, be good, no boiler room, everybody's happy. I went to Hamilton Middle School where I was bused, which is among the long list of things the Wichita Public Schools implemented that was stupid. No, I can't blame them, the federal government, because the federal government said you have to be bused. You have to be bused so many miles away from your home, and you have to be bused to a school that has this percentage of white people. Well, that wasn't hard to find. The percentage of white people, but guess what? Brooks, which is where I was supposed to go, was a very high percentage of brothers. Look what happened when they stopped busing. And look, Jardine, it's a very high percentage of brothers. And Curtis, all these schools. Well, guess what? They were further than the school they sent me to, Hamilton. So there I was at Hamilton, where I was voted class president uh, in the seventh, eighth, and the ninth grade. See, we went to elementary grades 1 through 6, middle school. They called it junior high back then. Grades 7 through 9, and high school grades 10 through 12. Uh, I'm rambling. You're going to cut a lot of this stuff out, and that's fine. Um, Went to Hamilton Middle School, and I guess I was the only one that forgot was that I was the only one that believed we were supposed to be integrated. I mean, I really believed that until I kissed a white girl. Their stuff, they got more. And all of this has nothing to do with me growing up. I'm just ranting and raving. Anyway, went to high school at East High here in Wichita, graduated in 1979. Some things you'll hear about me that you probably didn't know that I must admit I'm fairly proud of. I went to primarily wherever my mother taught. My mom was a school teacher. I was the youngest of 5, like I said earlier. I was the youngest of 5, like I said earlier. I went to Mueller Elementary, where my mother taught first grade and kindergarten. I went to Mueller all the way through 3rd grade until my mother transferred to Isley Elementary School. Then I went to Isley for the 2 years she was there. And then they started busing. Man, that was an adventure. Where I ended up at Adams Elementary School. And that was the one school I went to that my mom did not teach at. I used to think there were a lot of good benefits to having your mom teach where you went to school. Don't get it twisted, because I had to be a role model. I could never be in trouble. And when I did get in trouble, guess where they would take me? To see mama. And I knew that was not good because, well, my mom came from a different generation. Spare the rod, spoil the child. And to her benefit, she didn't spare the rod, I can tell you that. Probably increased their value by 200% just on me alone. What? What am I talking about? I can't see anything. I'm dead. Anyway, I did all of that, and I'll quit reminding you guys that I'm actually dead. Um, and yeah, I spent a lot of time in the boiler room, and I would say, "Mama, please, no, Mama, please." And I said, "Why are you taking me to the boiler room? I can scream." She said, "That's exactly why I'm taking you to the boiler room, because you can scream to the top of your lungs and ain't nobody going to hear you." So eventually I figured out, be good, no boiler room, everybody's happy. I went to Hamilton Middle School where I was bused, which is among the long list of things the Wichita Public Schools implemented that was stupid. No, I can't blame them, the federal government, because the federal government said you have to be bused. You have to be bused so many miles away from your home, and you have to be bused to a school that has this percentage of white people. Well, that wasn't hard to find. The percentage of white people. But guess what? Brooks, which is where I was supposed to go, was a very high percentage of brothers. Look what happened when they stopped busing. And look, Jardine, it's a very high percentage of brothers. And Curtis, all these schools. Well, guess what? They were further than the school they sent me to, Hamilton. So there I was at Hamilton, where I was voted class president uh, in the seventh, eighth, and the ninth grade. See, we went to elementary grades 1 through 6, middle school. They called it junior high back then. Grades 7 through 9, and high school grades 10 through 12. Uh, I'm rambling. You're going to cut a lot of this stuff out, and that's fine. Um, Went to Hamilton Middle School, and I guess I was the only one that forgot was that I was the only one that believed we were supposed to be integrated. I mean, I really believed that until I kissed a white girl. Man, those white boys were mean. They came to school with sticks and rods and stones. They were going to kick my butt. I didn't back down and ended up being what back then we described as a riot. But I got to admit, it was pretty close. I had an art teacher at Hamilton. Fuck that. You didn't hear that part. Anyway, so then I went to East High School where I played football. I played football for Theo Cribs, like everybody did growing up in the hood, the Wildcats. And I played for Mickey Johnson at East High School. And since two of my best friends have preceded me in life, Victor Fitz and Malcolm Williams. I'm coming, guys. Quit telling me to hurry up. Well, Mickey Johnson, he was a hell of a guy, a great role model, and so was George Whitfield. And I didn't really know how much I was missing not having a father until I realized that I didn't have one. And that's not saying I never realized I didn't have a father, but I realized how important a father is to family and kids. And I swore then I would be the best father I could be. And Mickey Johnson we were friends, and I was there holding his hand when he passed. And and George Whitfield, he's uh, he's now in Ohio, and him and his wife Cheryl probably had more influence on me than most black adults. Because you see, I was a ball boy for the Wichita State football team. And one day I always wanted to play for Wichita State until I found out that a guy that weighed 190 pounds, was notoriously slow, was not fast or heavy enough, maybe heavy enough to be a defensive back, but not fast enough, not heavy enough to be a defensive lineman, but not fast enough, not heavy enough, rather. Well, that went away. So then I wanted to be a coach. You got to realize most of the things that I ever wanted to do in life, I actually did. Um, because in Northeast Wichita, uh, I created this sports league. And so there were so many of us kids growing up then that each block had its own team. I grew up on Chautauqua. Yeah, everybody recruited. There was a team for kids who grew up on Green Street. There was a team for kids who grew up on Grove. And there was a team for kids who grew up on uh, 25th Street. And we would practice at that church across the street from uh, Wichita State. It still stands there today uh, next to the old Mission Cemetery. And they would let us use their gym. And here I was, this little pissant 14-year-old with a clipboard and a whistle, stopwatch. I look everything like a coach, but I was probably the last guy that should have been a coach. I was animated on the sidelines. I dressed up on game days. We had standings. We had trophies. We had leagues. And I did all that. And when I tell people I did that, they think I'm crazy, which, by the way, I affirmed years later on the radio. But I'm fun crazy, at least. And I tell you, basketball then in Wichita was a big deal, and basketball now in Wichita is a big deal. And that was a time when every middle school had a team, every high school had a team, um, and the league was much better uh, at developing young players in middle school and than they do now. It's kind of they just don't put everything into it that they used to. But now instead of kids from different blocks um, playing sports against each other, kids from different blocks have formed different gangs and they shoot and fight each other, which is sad. But ah, I don't want to be that guy. Way back when I grew up, I don't want to be that guy. But we had fun and we played and we were competitive. Uh, went to East High. Sophomore was not a starter. Junior, halfway started. And a senior started every game. And we did pretty good my senior year. I actually scored a touchdown. Yep. It's nowhere in the annals of great moments in the history of East High football, but I remember it, and that's all that matters. Went on to Wichita State. I was 17 uh, and heavily recruited by the fraternities there. And there was a fraternity, it's still there today, called Sig Ep, and they recruited me hard. Uh, and all I knew is that if I was going to join a fraternity, I wanted to join the same fraternity that Martin Luther King was in. And I didn't, I didn't know that we had that a chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha on the campus of Wichita State until my lifelong friend and brother, Victor Fitz, said, "Man, you need to join our fraternity." He said, "We're getting a frat together, that we're reviving the chapter, Wichita State." I said, "Cool." I said, "If you guys aren't the same fraternity as Martin Luther King, I'm out." Guess what? He came back at me with the full cover of Ebony magazine. Some of y'all don't know about that. They still print it today. And there was Martin Luther King on the cover. And I said, "Okay, okay." He said, "He's an alpha." And I jumped headfirst and being an alpha along with some great brothers. I mean, some great brothers. Uh, Victor Bridgewater, Terry Atwater. I could go on and on. Good brothers, solid brothers, all leaders in industry and business and in their communities to this day. And brothers I would still die for. Wait, I don't have that option anymore. Sorry, guys. But after college, I made the mistake. I thought I was old enough to get married. And that was a mistake. I was too young, too dumb, and too full of something that rhymes with rum. And, but I like drinking rum. That, well, that was it. I got married. I grew up watching Leave It to Beaver. What'd you expect? I really thought that's what married life was: a wife, two kids, and a house with a white picket fence. Man, do you know how mad I was when I found out they lied to me? So that all went away till I found the love of my life, Nicole, and the greatest woman I know. Uh, she has, you know, the greatest woman I know is my wife, Nicole. Um, she has strength, she has character, she's honest to a fault, but that's one of the things I love about her. 5 foot, 5'2", might be 5'1", 5'2" of blazing energy. And the only woman I ever met that matched my energy, loves to laugh, have a good time, loves margaritas, loves Mexican food, loves to travel, loves to go to concerts, loves to dance, and look, I don't love to dance all that much, but I quickly learned to develop a passion for it. And she is the greatest woman I ever knew. Mother of five, um, her kids, who I'm proud that they allow me to call them my kids, because I'm so proud of all of our kids. You know, our oldest son, Jordan, his wife, she's just amazing. And the beautiful granddaughter, Lena, that they gave us. Um, Hillary, thank you for being so amazing. Um, our oldest daughter, Kristen, who proudly introduces me as her dad. And people look at her and they look at me and they go, "What's not in this picture?" That's funny. But I'm proud of you, Kristen. You faced adversity, you faced challenge, you learned how to be an adult, and you gave me two amazing grandchildren in both Lux and Jackson. And Lux, no matter what, even though I'm not here anymore, don't you ever forget what G-Paw taught you about being number one. That's between her and I. If she wants to share it, I'll let her share it. And our middle daughter, Megan, who is on the path to a great life, uh, also giving me two beautiful grandchildren, uh, Adeline and Lorelei. God dang, Lorelai's she's a sassy one, but I love her spirit. And my son Zach, it's been fun to watch him grow up from a child to a man. It's been fun that uh, mom entrusted me with the love and care of her son. He married a great girl. Marissa is a awesome mom. On, and we're expecting our third grandchild from these two, which, by the way, Zachary, we took bets on which one of the kids would have the most babies. And hands down, we said it would be you. You know what? I don't get to collect on that bet. Jordan, you still got to pay up. Give my money to mom. But birds fly to the window. But anyway, uh, edit that part out. Zachary, uh, I don't even know where to begin with Zachary. It's just that keep pushing on, son, and you'll get where you're going. And you can trust decisions that Marissa makes because she's a great, great girl and a great wife. And I'm so, I don't know if we're having a boy or a girl, but God dang, so many grandkids, I can't remember all their names. Bo, who loves his G-Paw, and his firstborn. She loves G-Paw too. Time out. I got to text my wife to get, what's her name? Thank you, Zach, Marissa, for giving me 3 beautiful grandchildren. Brinley, with beautiful long blonde hair, and Bo, who you can blame his dad for him having a mullet, but the kid's got personality. And at the time of this recording, yet to be born, and his youngest, Melina, who is probably a newborn and probably making lots of noise like her dad did when he was a baby. And dang it, Melina, I wish I could see you right now, hold you. You'll never know me like the others, but hopefully they have fun and great stories to tell. And that's it. Nicole, I love you, and you are the greatest thing to ever happen to me, and the most wonderful, wonderful joy that ever became a part of my life. There's some people I want to thank because they deserved it. They were keys in my life and great, great friends. Gary Triazzi, my brother to my last breath. Thank you, man, for always being there for me. Jack Oliver, who taught me a lot about programming and was a mentor, leader, teacher for 30 years of my life. And Bob Mitchell in Dallas. Knowing Bob, he probably didn't make it today. I know you got some things going on, brother, but I want you to know how much I love you. And whenever people ask about me and ask how, and finally, my niece, Miranda, I love you as much as you love me. And thank you for taking the time to ask me questions about everything. And Kevin, you're my brother too. That's Miranda's pops, but my brother. Hence, I'm yet another uncle to little beautiful baby Aurora. And when time goes by And people stop and they ask, what was he like? What was he really like? I heard the guy was crazy, funny, quirky, always had jokes, which is all true. But all they have to do is show you this video, because those who know me and love me best know that this sums it up. And this is how I hope you'll always remember me by. All right, I gotta go. The meter's running. Old Mike Jackson is clocking this. So thank you for everything. I love you. Goodbye.